Okay, so essentially, you and I are sitting here recording a conversation, and we're recording this conversation that we're having because, and you can also chime into this, probably, in the last like 6 months, maybe, I feel like our church has been going through like a revival of
Yeah.
sorts. And then therefore we have been going through like maybe like a personal revival or maybe like
Yeah.
awakening to the activity of the spirit. And we've been having conversations between between both of us about just what God's doing in our life. And we have both kept having the thought, I feel like it might help people to also be a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of people on the internet that want to share their opinion, or they want to like come from a place of, let me educate you on this. And there's not a lot of people that like are very open about their process of where they're at and what Jesus is currently doing in them. And so our posture in this conversation and sharing this conversation with whoever might listen or watch this one day is, hey, we don't know what we're doing, and every moment I spend with Jesus is another moment where I tell myself and figure out and realize I actually have no idea what I'm doing again and again and again.
But God does.
But God does. And we want to let people in on that process and what these conversations look like. So
these will be probably 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And
quick.
they'll be quick. And hopefully they'll be insightful and
Hopefully
even
helpful.
let you in on kind of what we're processing and what God's speaking to us. And hopefully it's helpful for you.
So you were on a walk today and you felt like God spoke something to you.
10 minutes ago, I was on a walk.
And we said, we should go record this.
Yeah, and kind of was just walking around and had my AirPods in, and something kind of dropped in my spirit. What I mean by that is it was a random thought out of nowhere, and it was a phrase, and it was, hey, you could either play it safe or you could play it by faith. And I was like, whoa. And typically, if a thought like that happens, how I know it's from God is it immediately centers me. And I just felt super centered. And it was kind of like God opened my eyes to, maybe how many times I play it safe or choose the comfortable thing rather than playing by faith and stretching myself.
Yeah.
And I realized that, the comfort that God has for me is a comfort that's not of this world. And it's typically a byproduct of uncomfortable circumstances.
Yeah.
But the comfort that I often choose is comfort that I can control.
Yeah.
Rather than, something that comes from God. And so I was encouraged to really step out in faith more and like live a life of, man, does this require faith? And if it does, I'm going to step into it.
That's really cool. God just told you that. And I do
God
feel
just
like
told me.
you have been living your life quite like that. I would say when we got married 9 years ago, your like gift is steadiness.
Yeah.
So when God speaks a word like that to you, it's very like, whoa, jarring. My gift is faith. And so
Yes.
my gift is faith, vision. And when God speaks steady, rest, slow to me, that's like jarring to me. So it's cool how we ended up getting married, and then 9 years later, God's speaking to you about faith. So I get like, yeah, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Where are we going? What are we doing? What's about to happen?
Well, like what's cool is like, as a marriage, like my job is to support you and your job is to support me.
Right.
And so I've realized how many, Polly, stop. Hey, stop.
She's okay.
I've realized how many times that I can kind of like take away your faith or like bring you down to like logic or understanding. And I'm just in this season of realizing how big God is and how unnatural it is and how supernatural he is.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the best things in our marriage is when I've submitted to what you feel like God is saying to you. And it's typically big and audacious. And I'm like, all right, buckle up. Like, let's get on the car and go. I'm nervous. And it's just always turned out good.
But my day-to-day is so much better when I like submit to what God's telling you. Because I do feel like maybe like the big decisions in life maybe I initiate them or God drops them into my heart and then I bring them to you and we kind of make the big decisions together.
Yeah.
But the day to day, I feel like I allow your spirit to like really lead our home because I feel like that steadiness and how you just carry yourself creates such a safety for me. Because if I don't have the steadiness in the day to day, just like intentionality, then I can never experience like the big moments, or then every day is a big moment, and that's so unhealthy. But I liked how you talked about like your gift and my gift, and I feel like sometimes in culture people can use their gifts as actually like a bottleneck for people, or like their gift turns into their preference or their way of everything. And I really value and admire how you allow our marriage to be a place where my gifts are welcomed and your gifts are welcomed. And it's not just like, oh, now we have to be this big faith vision crazy, but our house has to be like that. No, that's my gift.
Yeah.
Your gift is steady. Your gift is hearing from the Holy Spirit like so clearly, but allowing and creating space for both of those to live together in unity has been really cool. And I feel like you've modeled that very well.
That, and I feel like since we are married, you know, the Bible calls us one. And so your gifts now become my gifts.
Ooh.
And so I'm like learning to develop more faith.
Wait, that's cool because everybody always talks about in marriage how like the other person's problem becomes your problem, but no one ever talks about the good side of it. Yeah, the gifts of it.
Yeah, and so I'm like, oh, well, one, I've seen the fruit of trusting what the Holy Spirit's saying to you. And so if it's fruitful, like I don't want to live, you know, because for the audience who doesn't know, like we almost lived in Orlando for the rest of our lives. And, you know, God took us all the way from Orlando to DC to LA. And I'm like, man, where else does God want to take us? It's kind of like every time you follow God, a lid that you box yourself in and a lid that you box God in becomes unlidded.
Yeah, I do feel like though for us in our story, we have moved quite a bit and that's been beautiful for us. But at the same time, I feel like this past 5 years, this season that we've been in Los Angeles, has been such a safe place for us to learn how to stay.
Yeah.
But feel like rather than in the past, it's been a very practical move. I feel like we've made massive internal spiritual moves.
Yes.
And God's taken us on a journey spiritually, where in the past it's been very practically. Our journey has been flying across the country during COVID with 7 suitcases and our dog. That was a very big practical faith step. But those are just as important as the past 5 years of like these internal massive faith steps. Like even you on a walk, getting a word from God like that, that is just as important as me getting a word from God of, what if we live in California one day?
Yeah. And like what I'm learning though is, I could have spent time scrolling on my phone just now, or I'm going to go on a walk and allow God to speak to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that word is probably going to shape and shift the next few months of our life and like the decisions that we make.
Yeah.
Because a word from God has substance to it.
That's so good.
And so, so I'm excited to see what kind of comes from that.
No, that's great. I mean, even I've been thinking about all day, and we've been talking about this a lot together, is just the concept of how important our thoughts are.
Yep.
And there's such a war for our thoughts. There's such a war for our attention. I think.
So true.
And to be quite spiritual, like there is a kingdom of light and a kingdom of darkness, and they are at war against. They want to have rule and reign over our mind, because if they can control our thoughts, then they can control our emotions. Our emotions come from a thought. Our emotions come from a belief system that somehow we've created or adapted, or created or adapted.
Yeah.
And then our emotions come from that. So I think just the awareness to where are my thoughts coming from, the awareness to what am I actually thinking about, because
what are you feeling about?
Yeah, because if you start to realize, why am I feeling this way? And then it starts to kind of go even deeper to, okay, well, I've been believing this.
Yes.
And then we've been practicing this lately within our church and within our marriage of, once you realize what you're feeling, then you can realize, well, what have you been believing and thinking about?
Yep.
And then you can ask the Holy Spirit, is that a lie or is that the truth? And then literally we've been doing this tool we've learned is literally sitting down and asking the Holy Spirit, what's a lie I'm believing right now?
Yeah. And what's the
Oh.
truth?
Okay, the lie I've been believing is that we're not gonna have enough money, or I don't look the right way or a certain way. Okay, those are definitely lies. Well, I've been creating a whole entire belief system off of lies.
Yeah.
But then I asked the Holy Spirit, what's the truth? And it's been so beautiful to reinforce that thought every day.
Yep.
So it's cool even you sharing that example of you going on a walk and just being mindful of your thoughts and having a conversation and internal dialogue with the Holy Spirit.
Well, yeah, because I'm realizing too how God speaks to me in my feelings as well.
Yeah.
And so many times we have programming of the world where if you feel some kind of way, you're like, oh, did I eat something bad?
I do that. I
Or-
am the number one culprit of that.
Or like, am I sad?
Yeah.
And I just think maybe that might have been hijacked by the enemy, and God actually is trying to speak something to you that in order for you to recognize he's making you feel this kind of way.
Yeah.
So I feel like the past few weeks, I've just had this unsettling in my spirit. And, we could easily be like, oh, am I depressed or am I sad? What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Or you can tune your frequency just a little bit to what's heaven saying.
Yeah.
And God's like, hey, I've called you to more things. Hey, I've
Yeah.
called you to deeper things. Hey, you're settling.
Yeah.
I'm unsettling you so that you know that you are settling. I've called you to more.
Sheesh.
And so, okay, if God said that, then the lie I was believing is I'm on this earth for an average reason, and it's just to
Wow.
kind of breathe air and then one day die. And God's
Whoa.
like, no, you're going to bring my kingdom to the earth, and
That's kind of what it's all about.
yeah, and I'm going to use you to heal nations.
I feel like the past year of my life, I've adopted the mentality of like, oh shoot, I'm like a super Christian.
Yeah, no, for
like,
real.
I have worked for churches for the past 10 years, but this is the first year I'm literally like, oh, dang it, I'm one of those crazy super Christians.
Yeah, that hears from God.
But it's like, I used to think it was like wacky doodle doo, and I'm over here like, okay, I'm fully embracing the wacky doodle doo.
Yeah, because if it changes the world, then everybody would embrace that.
Well, yeah, and it's like the culture of the kingdom obviously is going to be quite different than the
Yes.
culture of the world.
Yes.
And it's been interesting just to, I mean, we've always been Christians, but I think you and I are both operating at this level of like every day, at least we're trying to, every day being so dependent on the voice of the Holy Spirit and trying to allow our spirit to lead and not just allow old patterns or old behaviors or old like brain wavelengths or whatever to
Yeah.
continue to rule and reign our life, because that was only getting us the same outcomes that we've always gotten. But when we allow the Holy Spirit to lead us, that gets us outcomes that we literally never could achieve on our own. And it's not necessarily about like what can we achieve with Jesus, because that's giving like a vending machine God, right?
Yeah.
But it's about the posture that I live my life and the way that I live my life. There was this book I was reading and was talking about the fruits of the Spirit:
Yeah.
love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control. And those are the fruits of the Spirit. They're not emotions. They're not things
Jeez.
that you can work for. They're not things that you can read in a self-help book. Those are things that you have to allow the Holy Spirit to impart and develop in
Wow.
you. And so even earlier you were talking about rest.
Yeah.
Like love, joy, peace. Okay, if you want to, we were talking about this outside actually.
Yeah.
If you want to work from a place and live from a place of peace, that's not something that you can like have a 3-step routine on how to achieve peace. It's literally saying, Holy Spirit, I need you to impart me peace, because you are the creator of peace. You are the author of peace. You have full control and access to peace itself.
So good.
And those are the fruits of the Spirit's activity in your life. And then the way that I honestly have been living for the past like 28 years have been reaping the fruit of what I can achieve, the fruit of what I've done.
Yeah.
And not that it's all been bad.
No.
It's been great things that have happened and have come from our life and have come from honestly things that we've like worked hard for. But then the contrast of the things that I've worked hard for and then the contrast of the things that the Spirit has given me, I want that.
Yeah, and it's easier. And it's
Dude,
lighter.
it's so much lighter.
And it's more fun.
It's more fun. It's so much lighter. I just feel like my entire life, everything I worked for has been like, oh, cool. Everything God's given me has been like,
whoa.
Huh? I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay, I just want that. So that's the vibe we're on. That's the wave we're on lately.
And so to tie it up, I just want to end with this Bible verse. It says, "Behold, I am doing something new. I am doing a new thing." And so if God's doing a new thing, stop acting like he's doing an old thing.
Oh, shoot.
And center your heart on that truth because he's doing a new thing. And today is going to be amazing because you're stepping into the new thing that God is doing.
That's so good.
We love you.
We love you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
That's what our pastor says.